SBR Videos is sponsored by Sports Cash System. Click on the link below for more information. Hi, welcome to SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak, and this is our NFL opening line show that we do every Monday with Joe Duffy from Offshore Insiders, where we take a look at the opening lines that have just come out for the NFL and think about which ones might have some value, which ones might move, which ones might be big public sides, big teaser sides, big sharp sides. Joe Duffy, thanks for joining us this week.
Thank you, Peter. Let's get some more winners.
Absolutely. First, let's give a little plug for OffshoreInsiders.com. I know you've had a great year in our videos, 7-3 against the spread overall in the picks you've given us. Give a little plug for OffshoreInsiders.com.
Yeah, OffshoreInsiders.com is the home of me, Joe Duffy. Got a couple other handicappers there. And one of the things I haven't really mentioned enough is that my picks are one of the most inexpensive in the country. It's always been my MO that I want to appeal to the small player and the big player because I've been a handicapper for years. I plan on being in this business for another quarter of a century. So I'd rather us make money together a little bit at a time rather than going for the big kill. So not only am I one of the best handicappers out there, but it's $17 a day, much cheaper for longer term packages, one of the most inexpensive handicappers at OffshoreInsiders.com.
Okay, sounds great. Let's talk about these Week 4 opening lines in the NFL. The first thing that jumps out to me is Indianapolis minus 9.5. My first question is, how many teasers are not going to have Indianapolis in them this week?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is you never want to abandon theories just because you lose and you lose a tough one and maybe embarrassingly, you don't completely abandon that theory. I'll admit that Sunday I was 3-2, but of my two losers, one of them was I did go with Jacksonville because of a similar situation. Seattle, I thought it was the perfect sandwich game for them. If any team would be caught overlooking an opponent, it should be Seattle. But keep in mind, Colts are in a pretty similar circumstance here, and at least the Jaguars are playing at home. Remember, Seattle, I think just about every NFL expert will tell you, has the biggest home field advantage around. But Jacksonville doesn't have to worry about that this week. Indianapolis, of course, after that big game against San Francisco, they play aforementioned Seattle next week. So, yes, I did lose with this similar theory last week, but I still say a perfect letdown situation for the Colts, and laying 9.5 points on the road is a ton. I look for the home underdog to cover. Yeah, there's no question that the public likes to go with road favorites, and especially when you can tease a road favorite down to a pretty reasonable price. I would agree with you that what will be the number one teaser team this week? No question about it, Indianapolis.
All right, the next line that jumps out at me is the Dallas line. Now, you know, Dallas is always a public favorite team every year, year in, year out, and especially when they start to win and cover. And after last week's game against the Rams, now they're just a 1-point road favorite. I'm assuming that's going to be a huge public side.
Again, I'm not so sure about that. The Cowboys do have to travel halfway across the country. If anything, I think the public will bet the home underdog.
You think so?
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, Phillip Rivers, still a pretty good quarterback. I look for them to bet the home underdog here for sure. All
right, we'll see, because I look at this line and I think that, you know, Dallas is going to be, the public's going to be in love with Dallas until and unless they lose, you know, let's say 2 or 3 games in a row against the spread. And then the Giants, you know, the Giants looked absolutely awful. Now they're a 3.5-point road dog at Kansas City. What do you think? You think that this line is going to move down to 3, or do you think that, you know, public and or the sharps are going to come in on KC and just believe the Giants are, you know, until further notice, an auto fade?
No, I don't think it's going to move down to the key number. Right. I think if anything, the public's going to see an undefeated team only laying 3.5 at home. The line will go up to a winless team.
And then, you know, Seattle, the public in love with Seattle. They're a 3-point road favorite at Houston this week. Houston did not look good last week. I'm assuming that the public is going to bet this, and that we might see a home sharp, a public sharp split on this one, with the sharps coming in on Houston. But I'm not sure. Maybe Seattle minus 3 is a great bet.
Well, there's no question that the Seattle Seahawks have been the most dominant team in the NFL so far, and there's no way that the public in general is going to bet against them. But the big question is, where will the sharps bet? Yeah, Houston's a team that a lot of people thought was a favorite to go to the Super Bowl, and now all of a sudden they are a home dog. So I think this will be a clear sharp versus square. I think that the squares will be betting the road favorite, the sharps more likely to bet the home underdog.
And then the Pats. The Pats have been an interesting team. You know, the first 2 weeks, they didn't even come close to covering their big favorite spreads. A lot of people, including yours truly, was loving Tampa Bay +7 last week, but the Pats got an easy cover. Now they're pick 'em on the road at Atlanta, another team that, you know, they've got a lot of weapons on offense, but they're also kind of banged up. That's an interesting line. What do you make of that line?
Yeah, New England will probably close as a 1.5 to a 2-point favorite. We know the public loves betting Tom Brady.
Yeah.
The public last year had their question marks about the Falcons. They won a lot of close games. This year they're losing the close games, but the public has never been a big believer in the Falcons. I would expect this line to go up just a little bit in favor of the road team.
There is one more game, actually, before I let you go that I wanted to ask you. And I don't know which way the public and the sharps are going to bet on this, but Buffalo at home plus 3.5. Buffalo, that strikes me as a pretty sharp side. You know, Buffalo's coming off a loss, Baltimore coming off of that good win, but I think Buffalo still has the the positives to recommend them that we saw a few weeks ago. Baltimore still has the holes that we saw a few weeks ago, and I'm thinking that Buffalo might have some value there as a home dog. What do you think? I think that might close at 3 or even 2.5 maybe.
No, again, I think if anything, the public will bet Baltimore because why the Ravens are not only the defending Super Bowl champions, but the last 2 weeks they've looked like defending Super Bowl champions. So the public doesn't like betting those rookie quarterbacks, and I've told you I think that there's value in betting rookie quarterbacks. If anything, I think that Baltimore will go up as a larger favorite. So if you want to bet Buffalo, I'd wait until probably Saturday to bet them.
Really? You think so? You think the Baltimore line is actually going to go up before if it goes down, if it does go down?
Yeah, when you have the defending Super Bowl champions, all of a sudden, you know, that first week they looked atrocious. The past couple weeks, they've looked very good, and they're the type of teams that the public loves to bet. And again, they don't like betting on rookie quarterbacks.
Okay, thanks so much, Joe Duffy. We'll talk to you again next week.